Especially over the last few weeks around the diocese, I've been repeatedly spoken to by people who have been looking forward to celebrating Jackson's ordination today. Part of that, of course, is that over the last 2 years we've had a whole series of disappointments and postponements and restrictions, so it's nice to have something to get excited about. But there's something more going on too. There's a great sense of joy that goes much deeper than that. In the first reading today from the prophet Isaiah, we hear of Isaiah's own call from the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord has been given to me, for the Lord has anointed me, amongst other things, to bring good news, to proclaim a year of favour. The sense of joy that is so palpable here today means that, Jackson, in responding to your own call, you're off to a pretty good start. As we see today, as I've been hearing over the last weeks and months indeed, the ordination of a priest involves many more than just one single person. Partly, of course, because so many people are involved over so many years in nurturing and forming the person who is to be ordained, beginning with his family, his local community, then various parishes, more formal formation in the seminary and in his academic studies. But there's something more going on than that too. The ordination of a priest involves much more than just one person, because it is a celebration of who we are as church. Paul's message for the Romans in the second reading today speaks of that broader vocation that we all carry as part of the body of Christ. That vocation to live out the missionary discipleship that each of us was entrusted with on the day of our baptism, and in responding to which, together and only together, we are able to be that one body of Christ with the many different gifts that Paul speaks about here and in other places as well. And only drawing on those gifts that we are able to live out that mission that together we have as part of the body of Christ. That mission of continuing Christ's mission of building up God's reign amongst us. Each of us is made a missionary disciple, called as a missionary disciple, as Isaiah was called on the day of our baptism. And it's in responding to that call that we've received, in taking up the various vocations that Paul speaks of, with their many gifts. It's in doing that that the body of Christ flourishes, and that together we can pursue the mission entrusted to the church. The vocation to the ministerial priesthood, which we celebrate today in Jackson's ordination, is one of those many gifts, and it emerges from the life of that body with its many gifts. It's in service of the mission of the whole body of Christ, in service of the flourishing of the many gifts of the body. And it's one that can only be successful through an ongoing commitment to partnership and collaboration in a way that affirms and celebrates and builds on the variety of gifts that Paul writes of and that together we carry. It's in doing that a priest shows himself faithful to the model of Jesus in the Gospel. Jesus, who speaks of himself as the Good Shepherd, as the one who gives himself in coming to know his sheep, in helping all of the flock to live, as Paul speaks, in a way that we belong to each other, in building up those relationships that express that belonging to each other. The Good Shepherd who gives himself in a life of service. That's the call that Jackson has heard, the call of the Good Shepherd, the one who has given himself in service for each of us, who knows us each by name. That's the ministry that Jackson commits himself to and seeks to imitate. So as you do that today and in the years ahead, Jackson, we thank you for your generous and open-hearted response to God's call, and your generous and open-hearted response to the people you have come to know and love in your life and in your ministry. We assure you of our prayers and support as you are ordained to this new responsibility of leadership and service, and of giving yourself to build up the gifts of the whole body